friends, history lovers, and everyone in between, welcome. Today, we're journeying back in time, not just a few centuries, but millennia. We re-stepping onto the dusty roads of an empire that shaped the very bedrock of our modern world. I'm talking, of course, about the Roman Empire. From its legendary founding by Romulus and Remus to its eventual dramatic split and fall, Rome's story is a sprawling epic of power, ambition, and innovation that continues to fascinate us. For over 1,000 years, this civilization dominated the Mediterranean, leaving behind a legacy in our laws, our languages, our architecture, and even our politics. So, grab a seat as we unravel the triumphs and tragedies of the mightiest empire the world has ever known. Let's dive in. To truly understand Rome, you have to understand its military machine. The Roman legions were the envy of the ancient world, a force of unparalleled discipline and engineering prowess. Wars weren't just conflicts for Rome, they were the engine of its expansion. Think of the Punic Wars against Carthage, a titanic struggle for control of the Mediterranean. Imagine Hannibal, the brilliant Carthaginian general, crossing the Alps with elephants to challenge Rome on its own soil. It was a clash of titans that lasted for over a century. Then there were the Gallic Wars, where Julius Caesar conquered the vast territories of Gaul, modern-day France, forever changing the map of Europe. His campaigns were not just brutal, but also brilliant examples of strategy and logistics. And who could forget the wars against the Parthian Empire in the east, or the constant battles along the Rhine and Danube rivers to hold back Germanic tribes? These conflicts forged the empire, brought immense wealth and territory, but also sowed the seeds of future challenges. The Roman soldier, the legionary, was more than just a warrior. He was an engineer, a builder, and the backbone of Roman power. But an empire isn't just about armies. It's about the people who lead them. And Rome had some of the most famous and infamous leaders in history. The transition from a republic to an empire was marked by the rise of one man, Augustus, the first Roman emperor. After the chaos of civil war following Julius Caesar's assassination, Augustus ushered in an era of unprecedented peace and prosperity known as the Pax Romana, the Roman peace. He was a master politician who cloaked his absolute power in the traditions of the old republic. Following him was a gallery of emperors, each leaving their own indelible mark. There were benevolent rulers like Trajan, who expanded the empire to its greatest extent and was known for his vast public works projects. And Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king who wrote his famous Meditations while on military campaign. But there was also a dark side. Emperors like Caligula and Nero have become bywords for tyranny and decadence. Their reigns were filled with paranoia, political purges, and extravagant cruelty. This incredible cast of characters, from the wise and just to the dangerously unstable, steered the ship of state through centuries of calm seas and violent storms. Their decisions shaped the lives of millions, and their stories continue to be a source of endless drama and fascination. At the heart of this vast imperial system was the Roman soldier. The legionary was the cornerstone of Rome's military supremacy. These were professional, highly trained, and disciplined heavy infantry who enlisted for 25 years of service. A legionary's life was tough. They were subject to brutal discipline, but they were also incredibly effective. They marched for miles in heavy armor, carrying their own supplies, weapons, and tools. They weren't just fighters, they were builders. When they weren't on the battlefield, they were constructing the famous Roman roads that connected the empire, building fortifications, aqueducts, and bridges. Their engineering skills were legendary. On the battlefield, their tight formations, like the famous testudo or tortoise formation, made them nearly invincible. They were equipped with the gladius, a short stabbing sword, and the pilum, a heavy javelin designed to bend on impact to prevent it from being thrown back. Being a soldier was a path to citizenship for many non-Romans in the provinces, a powerful tool for integrating conquered peoples into the Roman world. The loyalty of these soldiers was paramount, and when that loyalty shifted from the state to their generals, it became a major source of instability. However, even the mightiest empires face internal turmoil. The history of Rome is punctuated by dramatic revolutions and brutal civil wars that reshaped its destiny. One of the earliest and most famous uprisings was the slave revolt led by Spartacus. For 2 years, This gladiator turned general and his army of escaped slaves defied the might of Rome, a powerful symbol of resistance against oppression, though it was ultimately crushed with extreme prejudice. But the most significant revolutions were political. The late Republic was torn apart by a series of civil wars between powerful generals like Marius and Sulla, and later, the epic power struggle between Julius Caesar and Pompey the Great. Caesar's crossing of the Rubicon River was a revolutionary act, a point of no return that plunged the Republic into a conflict from which it would never recover. His victory and subsequent assassination led to another civil war, this time between his heir, Octavian, and his former ally, Mark Antony. The final victory of Octavian, who would become Augustus, marked the end of the Roman Republic and the birth of the Roman Empire. These revolutions weren't just power grabs. They were the violent birth pangs of a new political order, driven by immense personal ambition, social unrest, and the breakdown of old political norms. So, from its humble beginnings as a small city-state, Rome grew into a sprawling empire that commanded the known world. We've seen how its relentless wars of expansion, led by its disciplined soldiers, carved out a vast territory. We've met some of its most iconic emperors, from the wise Augustus to the tyrannical Nero, whose leadership defined entire eras. And we've witnessed the dramatic revolutions and civil wars that repeatedly threatened to tear the empire apart, ultimately transforming it from a republic into an imperial powerhouse. The story of Rome is a timeless lesson in power, ambition, civilization, and collapse. Its influence is all around us, in the languages we speak, the laws we follow, and the ruins that still stand as silent witnesses to its former glory. It's a testament to what humanity can build, and a cautionary tale of how even the greatest empires can fall. Thank you so much for joining me on this incredible journey through the Roman Empire. I hope you found it as fascinating as I do. If you enjoyed this video and want to explore more amazing stories from history, please hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and ring the notification bell so you never miss an adventure. Let me know in the comments which part of Roman history you find most interesting. Until next time, stay curious.